Good morning, YouTube. I'm with another homeless resident of Dayton, Ohio. Somebody else I also know from the churches that help feed people like me and him. Your name?
Philip Draws.
Philip Draws. So, Phil, I'm not sure how long you've been homeless for, but I've known a few people that are homeless. And especially right now, they've made it really hard on people that are homeless that just don't have anywhere to go with everything, being shut down, right now that you could go to. I mean, they've taken away any places, that people like you can, sit down at. So how would you describe, trying to survive these last couple of weeks as opposed to when things are normally operating, the places that you could normally go to?
Well, it could be better.
Could be better.
Yeah, it could be a lot better.
I mean, so like, what are you doing to mainly like pass your time as far as, find places just to try and go somewhere, with almost everything, being shut down, because we don't have any community centers, we don't have any restaurants that you could sit down at, the libraries are closed. I mean, they've taken away every place that people like you could even get a shower at. Can't go to the LEC, can't go to the Croc Center, you can't even go to the Y or Planet Fitness. If you have a membership, you can't even go to a community center. So how would you describe the challenges for you as far as that stuff goes in that regard?
It's hard.
They talk about, wanting to stop the spread of this, whole coronavirus, but it's people like you and that other homeless people that are at risk because they don't have anywhere to go, and homeless people are going to congregate, wherever they can, go. So if they're really that concerned about, this coronavirus, they need to be doing something, for people like you that just don't have anywhere to go. Because like outside of that little park bench, down the street, or sitting on your walker there's just nowhere for, people like you to go. And it's very easy for somebody to tell somebody, oh, well, stay home during this time, but some people don't have a home, and some people just don't understand that, and the media is not giving any attention to people like you that just don't have anywhere to go, during this time. What are your thoughts on that? I know it's hard trying to survive this.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I find it hard. I mean, I mean, just pass my time.
Just what?
I just pass my time.
Yeah.
Bide with it.
What are some of the things you try and do, to pass your time, with everything, being shut down, right now,
It gives you my time to commute with nature, I guess.
Communicate with nature. Yeah, I mean, this is incredibly hard for anybody that's, homeless right now, trying to survive this, because there's just nowhere for people to go. And as I said, the local media is not, covering this, side of the story or giving that any attention, because if they were really that concerned about the coronavirus, they would give people somewhere to go. And before anybody would say, oh, people like him go to the shelter, well, for one thing, YouTube, I'm going to tell you this much, and Phil can attest to this as well. The homeless shelter is filthy, it's dirty, you're in a communal living environment like you are in a jail. So guess what? And there needs to be more than one group besides St. Vincent, de Paul, that operates, shelters. So there's a lot of people like Phil out here that don't want to go to some nasty, filthy shelter. And also, I just wonder how much longer that shelter is even going to remain open, because places like that, if this virus is as bad as they claim it is, places like that are prime spots to, spread this, virus. I mean, what are your thoughts on that, as far as like the shelter situation goes and things like that in the city?
I agree. filthy, dirty mess out there. And you're more liable to get the virus out there than you are in here.
Yeah, I mean, then you are sleeping on the streets than you are if you were allowed to go to McDonald's or the library. But yet that's not being shut down. And of course, if that does end up getting shut down, I mean, I don't know what St. Vincent de Paul could do besides, put people up in hotels. I mean, and of course, whatever ratty, motels that they could, put people up in, or hotels. But yeah, there's a lot of people that just don't want to go there for just good reason. So anybody that watches this video that says just go to the shelter, you're more likely to catch a virus or get sick there than you are anywhere else, as this man had said. And there needs to be more than, one homeless shelter. St. Vincent de Paul should not be the only group that is allowed, to operate a shelter, in a city like ours. And it's just a great disgrace that the shelters are a monopolized situation, and people like him just don't have anywhere that they can go, Is there anything else you would like to say in closing about this situation?
I just say don't go to the shelter.
Don't go to the shelter.
Yeah, if you can help it.
But as far as trying to stay safe during this situation, I mean, and trying to occupy your time, what would be your advice to other people?
Keep to yourself. If situations come up like I have, if you got a phone, dial those 3 numbers.
Yeah, 911. Yep.
It'd be worth your time.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you for your time, Phil. I really appreciate, the honesty. And then, on YouTube, this is honesty that you will not see on the local media. I am a completely uncensored. I am not politically correct. I am going to let people have a uncensored forum where they could speak the truth, something that you will not get on the local media,
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Phil.